last week I was in the IDP camp. We are going back there today to support them. And that IDP camp, they gave them mobile toilets. Mobile toilets. And these are people coming from the rural communities. They don't know how to use the mobile toilet. Nobody educated them on how to use it. So the mobile toilets are there. They are back in the bush. So nobody is making conscious effort. Some of these facilities they gave to them, for God's sake, you build a toilet. There's no sock away. There's no sock away. And you say you want to go to the National Assembly to legislate on open defecation when you are not doing the right thing. So, for me, I think there's need to continue to do this advocacy, this sensitization. It is an individual thing. Yes, government has a role to play, but at the same time, we as individuals, we also have a role to play in terms of maintaining our hygiene. And a lot of people lack that knowledge of the implication of what they are doing. So it's good for the government to step up that. We know that they have health officer, we have in those days we have Wole Wole. People say it's my right, it's my food, it's my compound. But Wole Wole comes and says something about it. So what happened to our health officers? What are they doing? What are they doing to ensure that these things are happening? Those are my own thoughts concerning this.
Okay, just before you came in, Dr. Ifeanyi made mention of the fact that most girls are out of school today because of the fact that there are no toilets in their school. And according to Amnesty International, millions of women and girls must walk at least 300 meters from their homes to find a suitable place to satisfy their toilet need. And the thing is, what effect do you think that will have on the situation today, apart from the fact that most of these girls are not going to school?
Number one, they are not going to school is a big problem on its own. Then the second one is that now they go to the bush. Several things can happen in the bush.
Yeah, we also hear that most of them are raped in the process.
Yes,
of
several things can happen in
walk.
the bush. Several things can happen in the bush. They can be raped. They can even contact diseases in the bush. And especially, let us also take into cognizance when we're talking about out of school girls. Now, girls who are doing their menstruations, they need that support. And if it's lacking, I mean, they will not come to school because they feel comfortable at home instead to go to the school and be embarrassed during that process. So these continually increase the number of girls out of school. And also we know in the morning, especially in our rural areas, before the children come to school, not only girls now, they go and fetch water, they go and do this. By the time they get back to the school, they are tired. There are several factors, but the most important thing that we should note is girls not coming to school has correlation with the environment in which they need to ease themselves.
Dr. Ifeanyi, let's look at the implication, the health implication on the girl child. Who happens to be the reproductive ones in the society?
You see,
how does it affect?
Yes, the implication is is bizarre. Why is it bizarre? If females do not keep themselves properly, they will come down as a result of contamination with urinary tract infection. And there can be a retrograde spread of it, and that could lead to pelvic inflammatory disease.
This you have seen?
Yeah. No, of course, the correlates are there. And you can therefore have infections that may not be properly managed because, of course, you know, our healthcare system is not at its optimum, and our healthcare seeking behaviors is still also very perennial. Of course, for want of access, for want of resources, it's not affordable, it's not available, it's not affordable, access is not there. So you find out that disease-related complications arising therefrom is enormous. And he had talked about the cases of physical assault. They can also be beaten by reptiles. When a female person is menstruating, at that particular time, hygiene is essential. And there can be no hygiene, there can be no sanitation if you do not have access to water, if you do not have access to toilet. So for me, honestly, what we should be discussing is not about legislation. Like he has rightly said, education, handing on knowledge. I saw somewhere on one of the donor agency's Twitter handle where he said something that intrigued me, that we communicate more. There's more communication than sanitation across the globe. And in your intro, you said about 4.5 billion people on Earth do what? Do not have access to toilets. Now, but a number exceeding that 4.5 billion have access to mobile phone today globally. So what can we do? Rather than our communication giants, particularly in Nigeria, disturb us with unsolicited SMS, can they help us drive the process of educating the populace? Because even in the remotest parts of the country now, we all have handheld communication devices of various types. So why wouldn't they use their unsolicited SMS, voice over messages to educate our people on sanitation, on water, sanitation and hygiene, to educate our people about the dangers of open defecation, to educate about our people on the need to build personal toilets in their homes, community toilets in communities.
Yeah.
I think that is the way to go, and not legislation.
Well, Dr. Cashman just opened the lines for us to talk about possible ways and step forward to see how we can put an end to open defecation in Nigeria. Let's also find out from you, our listener, what ways can we put an end to open defecation in Nigeria? 0909676268 and 0705 3538 929, 0705 3538 929 and 0909 676 2678.
Yeah, Mr. Bankole, there was talking about the health implication on the girl child. I attended a seminar. Okay, we have a call on the line. We'll come to that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel.
It's in.
We can hear you.
Yes, I think the people themselves can manage it themselves if they are actually educated on how to do it. We got to the place and we actually saw the despicable state in which, the condition in which they live concerning sanitation.
Well, were you able to in any way address the situation?
We are addressing the situation today. We are going to that IDP camp. We are going to do sensitization. You'll be surprised. They know the problem. They know the problem. They said no. They have toilets. You can see that toilet. They've turned it into dumping ground. Just another one. They've turned it to dumping ground. So they've cleared it. It's now dumping ground. Then they have, like I told you, we have the mobile ones which they can't use. So they go to the bush. Then we have some that they just build the place. There's no safety something underneath. So those are the initial. You have to gather this kind of information.
So the awareness is there for them, but the will to do the right thing.
The awareness is there that they should use it.
But nobody
talked about the process.
Okay, quickly, just before we go, while we're talking, the people that live in these shanties on my head, most of them seem to have their buckets placed somewhere in the corner of their rooms where they do this thing, and then because they have just like a compound with 25 rooms or 10 rooms or 30 rooms has just one toilet, and so parents are forced to keep some more containers in the corner of their rooms. The children go there, do whatever it is they want to do, and at the end of the day, they evacuate into the public system. Is there something that the government or individuals can do to help them out? Because that's the situation, and it's just somewhere across the streets. It's not like we're talking about people who live in villages. It's Abuja here.
And
Now-
maybe the health implication of doing that. It's your role.
It has health implications. But one thing I've come to understand over the years is that most of the time we look to government to solve all the problems. I think there are some things we can do as a self-organization. It's mentioned what some corporate organization can do. They can go beyond just that and do something like building toilets, like doing this. We as individuals in our own way, we should make efforts to do something.
Okay, declaring a state of emergency, is that good enough?
A state of emergency by word is not good enough. It has to be backed with action.
Thank you so very much for being guests this morning, Dr. Kashmir Fine, consultant.